Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we are following the latest developments on that breaking news with 5 U.S. prisoners that are being held in Iran set to be freed. This morning, a top U.S. official is going to join us live on the deal to bring the Americans home. Also, why some Social Security recipients are now getting surprise letters. They are being asked in those letters to pay back some money. And show me the money. We're going to show you how to find out if you are owed any of the billions of dollars in unclaimed cash across the country. That and so much more right here on GMA.
Ahead in our next hour, GMSA, help on the way for San Antonio Police with the city's new budget, how that could affect their response to mental health emergencies. And later, after a deadly weekend, community leaders trying to end violence with a new prevention plan that's going to city leaders. And up next, over 3 million people end up in the emergency room each year due to a fall. What you could do to make your home a little bit safer. Checking Trends Guide. We've had a few incidents this morning as we wait for the sun to come up, but the roads are dry. It's 73 degrees out there. It's going to be a great commute so far. Things could change in our 6 o'clock hour, and we'll talk to Stephen coming up at the top of the hour. Stick around.
And right now on GMSA, authorities in Wilson County, south of San Antonio, are searching for this man. How that search unfolded on Sunday and what we've learned about the suspect. Plus,
I'm ABC's Justin Finch in Washington following day 4 of the auto workers strike and the new short-term layoffs announced for non-striking workers. That story ahead.
And Cowboys fans waking up to another victory Monday. How the defense stole the show again, this time in front of a home crowd.
And rise and shine. It is Monday morning, 6 a.m. And right now we're in the 70s, so it's pretty pleasant outside compared to a warmer afternoon that we will face later on.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. It is 6 a.m. on your Monday, September 18th.
Thank you for starting your morning with us, and welcome back, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Feeling much better and loving that temperature right now.
I know you came back on a good day, and did you have a good weekend as well?
I did. How about you?
Good. The weather worked out, especially yesterday.
It did, but it did get hot in the afternoons, and Mike says that's kind of a foreshadowing for what we could see for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and hopefully you're one of the lucky ones that got some rain Friday and maybe early on Saturday, because now that's it. For a long time, yeah. Back to the Cowboys. I was just flipping around a little bit, saw a little bit of that. Boy, yeah, their defense and a couple of those plays.
Two words, Micah Parsons.
Yeah. I mean,
he's
man,
a beast.
They were just on yesterday. Anyway, my Lions lost in OT. Hi.
You okay, buddy? You're still a good team this year.
All right, we've got lots of clear skies out there as of right now. Temperature, 73 degrees, very nice. We're still 4 above normal, but that's pleasant. And we got 10 degrees lower in parts of the hill country, 64 Kerrville, 63 in Comfort, and then low 70s all around the metropolitan area. And this is what really makes the difference. Now, there is still an okay amount of humidity, say New Braunfels, Stinson, Pleasanton, but here in town at the airport, 62 for Dew Point, that's not bad at all. And then you get in the 50s out there in the hill country, and that's really nice and pleasant out there. So you'll continue to drop down with temperatures and then warm up. Now, we do have a lot of mold, and the updated count, of course, comes out in just about, say, an hour and a half or so. Ragweed is on the low side. Ozone Action Day around the metropolitan area, kind of a stagnant atmosphere is the best way to put it. 86 today at noon, 95 for a high temperature. So we will drop down a few more degrees this morning, and then we gain 25 throughout the course of the day. And we're going to be 5 degrees above normal. But as we go on into the rest of the week, we're going to be averaging anywhere from 5, 7, 8, almost 9 degrees above normal for high temperatures. When will that end? When will we see any rain around here? 2 big questions. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, what's the very latest?
It's been a smooth morning, Mike. Now that we've entered the 6 a.m. hour, drivers who are waking up and getting the day started with us won't have too much to worry about, but we can expect to see a little bit more traffic. And again, that's always expected for anyone that is waking up and hitting the roads. 410 at Ray Ellison. It is still a pretty quiet morning for drivers in that area. And 410 at Starcrest, picking up just a hair there. So you can really see just a little bit more of that traffic, but not a lot of problems. We did at least have one crash that was reported, but that was in the 5 a.m. hour, and that's already cleared out at 410. tenures of Perrin Vital. And our map is pretty much showing a quiet start again for the most of commuters out there. If your plans are going to take you right here into the Alamo City, well, that journey from Boerne along I-10 eastbound should be about 23 minutes, at least at this hour. And right now, no need to hurry if you are traveling in from Bulverde on 281 southbound. It's a 25-minute commute, and not too awful from New Braunfels, 24 minutes along 35 southbound. So just be on the lookout if you are heading into town. We're not seeing any big delays, and back here on these TransGuide cameras, no other issues are being reported, at least just yet, but I'll keep a close eye on things, and I'll have another update for you coming up a little bit later on in the next few minutes. Mark.
Thank you, Stephen. To a developing story, Wilson County deputies need your help finding a man they say escaped arrest on Sunday. The man you see here, Robert Atkins, ran from deputies when they tried to arrest him inside an RV. He's wanted on burglary and theft charges. Texas DPS and Lavernia police are insisting in the search. Wilson County deputies ask everyone in the area to secure the property and remain vigilant. If you see Atkins or you know where he is, you can call the Wilson County Sheriff's Office at 830-393-2535.
Now to an active silver alert. Have you seen this man? Well, police in Brownsville say 88-year-old Francisco Duran vanished on Saturday night. Now, he's about 5'10", has gray hair and brown eyes, and he does have a medical condition. He was last seen wearing a blue flannel shirt with blue jeans. He was also driving a black Mitsubishi Outlander with a license plate SRD 9344. If you know where he is, you're asked to call the Brownsville Police Department. That number is on your screen, and that is 956-548-7014.
80 Morning Headlines. U.S. military is searching for the wreckage of a U.S. Marine Corps F-35 jet that crashed near Charleston, South Carolina. The jet, similar to the one on your screen, went down Sunday afternoon. That pilot ejected safely, and first responders took the pilot to a medical facility for treatment. No word yet on what caused that military jet to crash.
The United Auto Workers Union's historic strike against Detroit's big three auto companies continues after both sides failed to reach labor agreements this weekend.
However, as ABC's Justin Finch reports, the strike is now threatening the jobs of workers who are not striking.
This morning, nearly 13,000 auto workers are returning to the picket line. The United Auto Workers Union pressing ahead with this first ever simultaneous strike against Detroit's big three automakers.
We're prepared to do whatever we have to do, so the membership is ready.
The UAW says it held negotiations with General Motors and Ford over the weekend, reporting reasonably productive conversations with Ford. Chrysler and Jeep parent company Stellantis says it's raised its hourly wage offer by nearly 21%. But still not enough for the UAW, which is demanding that the big three revive worker pensions, better retiree benefits, cost of living adjustments, and a 40% pay increase.
They can barely make it. They deserve a living wage, and they need to be brought up to what we make.
The automakers call the union's demands too costly as it takes on the added expense of building electric vehicles. The strike spurring reaction from Republicans and Democrats.
I'm somebody that believes in free enterprise. I think those are decisions that can be made by shareholders in creating pressure.
If you work hard and play by the rules, you should be able to provide a comfortable living for yourself, for your family.
Now, at least two automakers announcing temporary layoffs for non-striking workers, some 2,000 at GM and some 600 at Ford. UAW President Fain is slamming those auto worker cuts, saying the companies don't have to lay off a single employee, could double every worker's pay, not raise auto prices, and still make billions. The auto company CEOs not publicly responding. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys hosted the New York Jets Sunday in the home opener at AT&T Stadium. Dallas dominated the game early, led 18-7 at the half. Third quarter, Jets give the ball running back Dalvin Cook. He meets Micah Parsons up close and personal. Micah strips the ball, runs it back the other way, thinking it was a touchdown, but he was ruled down. So Dallas gets the ball. Jets would hold the boys to a field goal, score at 24-10 after three. Fourth quarter now, Jaron Kearse picks off Zach Wilson. Dallas gets a statement win. They win 30-10. They're now 2-0. They'll hit the road next week to take on the Arizona Cardinals Sunday at 3:25 out in the desert. Out in Houston, Texans had their home opener at NRG Stadium. They faced the Indianapolis Colts and quarterback Anthony Richardson, the 4th overall Pink Whip, right to work. Dancing in the open field, getting in for his second rushing touchdown of the day, making it 14-0 Indy. C.J. Stroud would answer with Nico Collins for the 8-yard touchdown. That's Stroud's first TD of his NFL career. Richardson would leave the game with a concussion in the second quarter, but the Colts would get the win. So Texans fall to 0-2 on the young season. Stroud finished with 384 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Next week, the Texans will be in Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars Sunday at high noon.
And the time now, 6:09 and 73 degrees for now. Still to come, TikTok is offering online discounts for their stuff before the holidays. How you can cash in and win, that's coming up before 6:30.
Plus, over 3 million people end up in the emergency room each year due to falls, and the cost of these injuries is going up. After the break, what you can do to make your home safer.
And rise and shine. Now we're at 6:09 Monday morning and starting in the 70s. So not too bad when you open that door, but later this afternoon things will heat up again. We'll be checking in with Mike to see when we will get a little bit more relief. We'll be right back.
6:13, we all fear it, either for ourselves, our parents, or especially grandparents. We're talking about falling, and there's good reason.
Today kicks off Fall Prevention Week, and as Alexa Lorenzo tells us, falls are the leading cause of deadly and non-fatal injuries for older adults.
I was walking from the living room to my bedroom, and I fell into the kitchen.
82-year-old Patricia Bursch spent 2.5 days on her kitchen floor until help arrived. Her story is not uncommon. 60% of falls happen inside the home. If you're over age 65, you have a 25% chance of falling and hurting yourself. And researchers predict there will be 7 deadly falls every hour by 2030. That's why it's important to make your home as safe as possible.
It can be things like adding a grab rail or changing the way you do something, like turning on a light before you walk down the stairs.
So another common hazard are things like these carpets where the edges can lift up and cause a problem.
Using double-sided tape under the rug solved the problem. Other simple but effective solutions: add railings to all your stairways and grab bars before getting in and out of the shower and on and off of the toilet. With some simple and inexpensive ways to make your home safer, I'm Alexa Lorenzo.
Approaching 6:15.
Let's check back with our Stephen Cavazos.
Not too bad over here. Traffic as expected is busier now that we are entering morning rush. We're getting closer to it, I should say. But as you get a look there, we have 35 at Southwest Military. We are seeing a few more folks, but thankfully no other problems are detected, at least at this hour. I'll keep a close eye on things and talk to our friends at TransGuide if we see something that pops up. But as we take a look at our map, no red has been detected on our map. So just enjoy those quiet green roads while you can. But be on the lookout, especially if you travel along I-35 overnight. There's a lot of overnight work taking place. It's a lot of text that you're going to see here on your screen, so just take a look. We have drilling work taking place, and this is part of the NEX project. It's not wrapping anytime soon, but this portion will take us all the way up to September 23rd. Again, overnight, 9 in the evening to 5 in the morning. We'll see a full closure on I-35 southbound. That's the frontage road, entrance ramp, from Randolph Boulevard to Fratt Road. As I mentioned, a lot of text on your screen, but if you scan that QR code, it takes you directly to our KSAT traffic page. All that text you just saw will be at your fingertips. So know before you go, there's plenty of projects taking place. One of the bigger ones we've talked about is 1604 North Expansion. But don't forget, 35 is also a pretty busy area as we have hundreds and thousands of people who travel through there each and every day. So know before you go.
Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. And for Monday, I know it's okay right now in the 70s. We had a nice weekend.
Yeah, it was a very pleasant weekend. Some folks did get some rain, which was very nice. I got some Friday morning. I was in at my house. But anyway, and then things definitely did heat up. And that's going to be the situation. We were talking last week that if you didn't get rain in this last round, that's it for a while. So we're not looking until maybe middle of next week until something tries to crop up around here. Although, despite the fact not a lot of rain, a lot of folks' flowers have been blooming quite nicely. Take a look at this. This wisteria. How beautiful is that? I'd love to plant one of these with a little trellis in one spot there, but I know. See, I have, and she kind of just then avoids me. When I start talking about, hey, Sarah, you want to come to my house? She knows exactly what it is. Anyway, she's got a green thumb. Some of us don't. We got a lot of clear skies right now, and we're going to have a beautiful sunrise later on this morning. Sun doesn't come up for another just about an hour or so now this time of year. 62 right now in Comfort, 70 Converse, 73 at Port SA, Castroville, as well as at the airport. We've got some drier air out there. Dew points are in the low 60s, upper 50s. So that's not bad at all. Down 3 degrees, the dew point is compared to this time yesterday. It was pleasant yesterday morning, even more so here in town. And that's going to remain the case. And we've got this lower dew point, and it will drop slightly in the afternoon. So yes, even though we're going to make it up to 95, we're not going to have a lot of heat index to deal with out there. If you're in the direct sun, obviously it feels a lot warmer than that. Then we're going to get back into more of our kind of summertime pattern where the humidity comes up in the morning, drops in the afternoon, comes up even more. So that's going to be holding low temperatures up as we go into the rest of the week. So I'm going for 70 for low temperature this morning, but by the mid to latter portion of the week, we're going to be seeing mid 70s, so good 5-6 degrees above normal, kind of to match the high temperatures, which are going to be 5 degrees above normal later on today. All right, we've been talking about, the high, which has been around here forever. It seems like it has finally weakened, kind of shifted off to the south just enough, but it's still hanging around here enough to sort of influence our weather, and it helps to keep us in this zonal pattern all week long, which means everything flows basically straight west to east. You don't get any big weather makers around here. You don't get any change in temperatures, and in our case, we're going to be staying, like I said, averaging 5, 6, 7 degrees above normal. Big low develops out there to the west. We were watching this one last week, the development of it, and that's still going to be the case. And it's also going to kind of have a front associated with it. That's going to work its way in our direction. Some computer models have this moving through a little bit earlier in the day on Sunday, and others I'm kind of leaning toward the wait until late Sunday, early Monday for that to move through. So we're still going to be hot on Sunday, but we will see then temperatures drop down to normal readings by Monday. Also, as the front moves on through, there is one computer model, not necessarily this one, that's trying to scare up a couple of showers with it. Yes, well off to the east of us, but I don't think we see anything around here as far as any rain. 95 and even hotter than that Wednesday, Thursday up to 97. And again, those low temperatures are going to be hanging in there in the mid 70s. So a lot more humidity in the mornings the rest of the week. Boy, just cut and paste each and every day all the way through the weekend. Then that front comes through late Sunday, early Monday.
And then 80s maybe.
Yes, and then we're looking at some upper 80s for into the middle part of next week.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mike.
619, 73 degrees.
And just ahead, comedian Russell Brand denying allegations that he sexually assaulted several women between 2006 and 2013. That's coming up next in your GMA First Look.
Travel, there is nothing like it.
Dancing is my passion.
But with my moderate to severe eczema, it hasn't always been easy.
I was constantly itching.
Whatever I was doing.
Now I'm staying ahead of my eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion. And Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema, so adults can have long-lasting, clearer skin and fast itch relief. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a powerful thing.
Ask your eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal your skin from within.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the allegations against Russell Brand.
But I feel like I'm being attacked.
The British comedian, famous for playing a rock star and forgetting Sarah Marshall.
My ex-boyfriend.
Oh, right. Hey, I'm Alder Snow.
I know who you are. Yeah, you're very, very famous.
And a villain in Despicable Me.
Can I drink this?
Do you want to explode?
But now 5 women making allegations, 4 of them anonymously, during an in-depth collaborative documentary by multiple British media organizations accusing him of rape, sexual assault, and abuse. Brand posting a video online addressing the allegations.
As I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the very latest on this developing story. With your GMA First Look, I'm Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
In your consumer headlines, Apple rolling out iOS 17 today, including a series of new features for iPhones. The new operating system includes a standby mode with information users can see from a distance when your iPhone is charging. And there's live voicemail that transcribes messages in real time.
TikTok is looking to give its online marketplace a boost. According to Bloomberg, TikTok Shop will offer discounts for the holiday shopping season. The hope is that slashing prices up to 50% will spur competition with Amazon and Walmart.
625, 73 degrees.
And still ahead at 6:30. Accidents happen, but should you go to the ER or urgent care? What one doctor is saying about getting treated without hurting your wallet as well.
This morning on GMSA, help is on the way for San Antonio Police with the city's new budget, how that could affect their response to mental health emergencies. Plus,
I've never seen so many cops, so much manpower, lights and sirens all at once.
After a deadly weekend, community leaders are trying to end violence with a new prevention plan. What they have in mind in just a few moments.
Outside with live cam for months, it seemed like our morning temperatures are locked in right around 78, 79, maybe 80 degrees, 72 right now out at San Antonio International Airport.
Hi, good morning. Happy Monday. It is September 18th.
Glad you're with us to start your Monday. And Mike Osterhage is here with a look at a forecast that includes, in the long term, one of those cold fronts.
Long term. So and that's a week from today. So between now and then, the nice thing, getting back to the morning temperatures though, in low 70s, we're still a little bit above normal, but the humidity is lower. So that's comfortable this morning. That's not going to be the case though the rest of the week. And then we've got those afternoon temperatures, which remember yesterday, beautiful day, lots of sunshine, but mid 90s. And that's what we're going to be at today as well as the rest of the week. And I can't tell, is that my imagination, or are we starting to see the morning glow of the sunrise out there? Sun doesn't come up for, another hour, about another 45, 50 minutes or so. So maybe not quite yet. 73 degrees out there at the airport. Normal low 69. So we're still 4 above normal, but that number is much lower. The dew point's down to 62. 60 is always that threshold where you get below that and it's really comfortable out there. Temperatures low 60s in the hill country, 74 at Stinson. And again, humidity in most areas is okay this morning. It's not like it pushes back at you, wet towel, that kind of summer humidity. Mold's on the high side. Ragweed is low. Mold should be dropping down when the updated count comes out in about an hour or so. We do also have an ozone action day in effect today, and mostly sunny, hot, 95, 5 above normal. Rest of the week, plenty of sunshine and even hotter. 95 again tomorrow, but Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be leaning into the upper 90s, and we're going to be staying hot all the way through the weekend. Then we get into the first part of next week. We've got a front moving on through here, the one that Mark was alluding to. It's going to be late Sunday, Monday as it looks right now. So that will knock temperatures down as we go into the first part of next week. But notice what's not on that graph. Rain. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, what's going on?
Hey, traffic's looking fine here, Mike, on these TransGuide cameras, but the problem is not being spotted here. Where we're seeing that issue is along Loop 1604 heading northbound. I'm just going to take you right to our map. You see it right there at West Military Drive. A crash has been reported by TxDOT. This has not caused major delays with traffic, at least just yet, but it is just only 6:32, so we are going to start to see a little bit more of the traffic build up out there, especially along Loop 1604. Please be on the lookout. I'll talk to our friends at TransGuide here in the next few minutes and see if we can get a shot from one of the cameras out there. I do see that there are flashing lights from one of the still images on their website. But as we give you a wide look at the map, there's still plenty of green here on the screen. So drivers really don't have a lot to worry about, but we're going to start to see a little bit more of that congestion as usual. US 90 eastbound, that's the first place to go where we start to see that yellow and orange build on our map. So we'll watch it closely, but the travel times still show about a 28-minute commute if you're heading in from Castroville along US 90. 37 northbound northbound, it's a 27 commute and 15 minutes if you are traveling in from Lytle. But I do want to get it back here on TransGuide. Again, I'll step out of the studio to talk to our friends over there and see if we can get a shot of the crash at 1604. I'll have an update there coming up a little bit later on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. 6:32, a stolen car and a stash of guns could land a driver in a load of trouble. Sheriff's deputies say that's just some of what they found after chasing that driver through West Bexar County.
Katrina Weber is live downtown with that story. Katrina, we understand they are still looking for another person.
Well, that's right. They're looking for a passenger in the car, someone who bailed out. Now, they actually bailed out on the south side of town, and that led to a pretty widespread search. Let me give you a look at the video from earlier this morning. This started after 5 o'clock this morning. The sheriff's deputies chased this car all the way into the city limits. They say they started out in West Bexar County, but ended up in a neighborhood not far from Loop 410 and Moorsun. It was a street called Amber Place. That's where they say the passenger got out and ran. Now, they did have help from San Antonio police as they searched the area. Police brought in their helicopter, officers on the ground, as well as their canine, but they did not find the passenger. Now, deputies tell us that they believe those two people who were in that car, which was stolen, were actually breaking into cars out in West Bexar County. That led to a chase that lasted about 15 minutes all the way into the city limits. And when deputies searched that stolen car, they say they found about 6 or 7 weapons, as well as some stolen ID cards. They again believe that that pair had been breaking into cars, and this might have been some of the load that they were able to get. They did take the driver into custody, but that passenger is in the wind. They did not track down that person who they were looking for. Reporting live downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. And looking ahead, the new budget from the San Antonio City Council will soon help the police department hire more officers.
This comes after 4 shootings Saturday night. Our Avery Everett shows us how next year's budget could help the police department with its response.
He's deceased.
A suspect shot and killed by SAPD.
He was armed with a knife.
It happened late Saturday night on the south side on Roosevelt Avenue, all after what police called an altercation.
He also wound up having to use deadly force.
That's just one of the 4 confirmed shootings overnight that SAPD responded to. These shootings come in a month already marked with 5 SAPD officers shot in a span of 2 weeks. But with the passing of the City Council's spending plan this past week, more staff is budgeted for SAPD.
We need to increase the number of officers who need to help.
The budget allows for the San Antonio Police Department to add 105 police officers. It's the single largest increase to the department in more than 20 years.
But that's not the only budget item involving SAPD. During budget talks this summer, City Council really wanted to expand the city's mental health response. Now they're adding more money to achieve this around the clock.
Right now, we know when the peak times are, and we want to make sure we have people here for those peak times.
The budget allows for the San Antonio Community Outreach and Resiliency Effort, or SACORE, to work around the clock. They're the team made up of a trained police officer, SAFD paramedic, and a licensed mental health clinician to respond to mental health calls. Right now, they only work 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. But starting next summer, this program will have 3 teams with around-the-clock coverage for mental health.
We want to make sure we have people here for those peak times.
As for the mental health unit at SAPD, increasing its staffing is a top priority for the department.
We're a very large city, and unfortunately, we see a lot of mental health issues.
This budget becoming a support for SAPD.
We need more officers in the mental health unit. We do, and we will eventually get there.
But only one step in securing specialized response for San Antonio.
So the San Antonio Police Department wants to expand its mental health unit, but in the meantime of doing that, they're looking to train all of their officers on mental health response. But the problem with that, it's going to take 3 years to train all those officers. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
And after a night riddled with violence on Saturday, we are gathering new details on a community plan to end the cycle in San Antonio. Metro Health, along with dozens of community organizations, have completed a 5-year violence prevention plan full of prevention and intervention strategies. The plan focuses on gun violence, youth violence, domestic and sexual violence, and one strategy includes a youth ambassador program where young people encourage their peers to stay away from violent activities. Another one would create a hub for violence prevention so people can access resources faster and easier.
Kind of one-stop shop where whether it's a concerned citizen or, somebody who's serving youth or can reach out and say, hey, what resources are there? Who do I call? What can I do?
Metro Health says that the violence prevention plan to city leaders in the coming weeks. They'll turn that in. After reviewing the plan, city leaders will decide how to support these ideas.
This morning, Workforce Solutions Alamo says the unemployment rate here is up at 4.3%.
But the Alamo City is doing better than the Texas unemployment rate, which sits at 4.5%.
Max Massey spoke with the Workforce Solutions CEO Adrian Lopez on Leading SA about those recent trends.
Adrian Lopez joined us, and we talked about a lot. We talked about the latest unemployment numbers here in San Antonio and around our cities. And we talked about how it compared not only to other major cities, but really the national outlook. Of course, September is Workforce Development Month. So we talked about why workforce development is so important, not only locally, but around our country. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Workforce is extremely key to the local economy, right, and to the national economy. If you look at, one of the headlines today, what's happening with the auto workers strike, with the big three, automakers here in the U.S., that really sort of highlights the importance of a balance between sort of what happens with economic development, business development, and workforce, right? Those things to actually churn together or to work well together, continues to churn the economy, right? It produces new jobs, definitely has, an impact on the overall sort of economy.
Now, these are just a couple of the topics that we discussed. You can check out the full interview right now. Just head to the Leading SA section of KSAT.com. We have Leading SA every Sunday at 8 a.m. So, guys, we'll see you next Sunday. Back to you.
Thank you, Max. 6:39, 72 degrees.
Just ahead, accidents can happen, but should you go to the ER or urgent care? Well, what one doctor is saying about getting treated without hurting your wallet, too.
Just about 6:43. Welcome back. Did you know the CDC says there are over 130 million trips to emergency rooms across America every year?
However, knowing whether or not to go to the emergency room versus an urgent care is even more important, not just for your health, but also your wallet.
That's right. KSAT producer Haley Powers shows us some health issues and where you should get them treated.
Accidents and illnesses happen, and when you're in a panic, you may not know where you need to go. There are three options you have, and that's the emergency room, which is best suited for life-threatening emergencies, your primary care physician, which is best suited for preventative health care, and then there's urgent care.
The purpose for urgent care is to fill that gap between the primary care office and the emergency department.
Chief Medical Officer at Christus Children's, Dr. Norm Christopher, helped me sort out some different scenarios and where you should go for each.
If you're having a heart attack, you want to go to the hospital. If you have COVID, flu, or strep symptoms, head to urgent care. If you fall and you think you break your ankle, head to urgent care unless there's an open wound or deformity, then you want to head to the hospital. If you have seasonal allergies, go to your primary care physician. If you are having a stroke, go to the hospital. If you have high cholesterol or blood pressure, go to your primary care doctor. And if you fall and think you might have a concussion, head to urgent care.
If you end up in an urgent care center and they have concerns about their ability to care for you, they will advise quickly that you go to an emergency department.
If you are unsure if you should go to the emergency room or not, ask yourself, is this something that needs to be taken care of right now? Or can I wait to see a doctor? Depending on your injury or illness, your wait time at the hospital could be long and costly.
So if you've got 20 patients in line and you're number 20, your ability to move up to number 3 in that line really depends on a whole lot of different things.
When things happen, there's a lot to think about. So we're breaking that down for you on our website, KSAT.com. Haley Powers, KSAT 12 News.
Okay, 6:44.
And it looks like big problems at Loop 1604 at Military Drive. Let's check with Stephen Cavazos.
The last few mornings, every time around this hour, we usually have a problem that pops up, and this is a pretty busy spot, guys. 1604 there at West Military. We at least have 2 lanes blocked. Flashing lights right behind me. Never a good sign. No word yet if paramedics are out there, but we do have a crash that has traffic down to at least 1 lane out there. This is for anyone that's heading northbound along Loop 1604, and you can see that traffic is moving pretty slow through the area. It's not really being reflected on our map in terms of big delays just yet, but we want you to be on the lookout there because first responders are out there on the scene, and clearly it's very dark out there. So Please watch out for them as they get the job done, and let's hope everyone else is doing okay. But as we are taking a look over here, as we take that drive to US 90 eastbound, another crash has popped up here near Hunt Lane. No delays in this particular part of the map, but check it out. When we give you a wide view, we're starting to see a lot of that buildup out there at US 90 just a little bit before Loop 1604. So drivers that are heading in from Castroville can expect some delays. That crash is not going to help any. I'll talk to our friends at TransGuide and see if we can get another shot there. But as we take a look at the map, a lot of that congestion is starting to build up along 35 northbound, heading out toward Live Oak. And of course, as I mentioned, US 90 eastbound. But we have our eyes on this crash in other areas along the in Long Loop 1604, as well as other spots around the Alamo City. We'll give you updates as they come in, but just watch out if you travel through this area.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Mike, you know how I mentioned earlier there were 2 Monday night games tonight? Yeah, here's the scoop you wanted to know.
Yeah.
Saints Panthers 6:15 on ESPN and ESPN2, and then right here on KSAT, Browns Steelers starting at 7:15.
A busy night.
Busy night for sports.
AFC North, Browns Steelers. That should be a good one. So. All right, take a look at this picture. This to me is just,
wow.
I wish I could be at that spot, you know, and just enjoying that sunset like that.
And she was singing to you?
Sunset song.
Yes, and have her singing. That would be wonderful too.
Our buddy Woody sent that. Who's the girl, Woody?
What a great shot, though, and just reading a book as well. So thank you very much for that. All right, beautiful sunrise on tap as expected. We've got just a couple of clouds hanging around here right now, and we're going to see plenty of sunshine today, and then it's going to warm up very quickly with this dry air in place. So going into really basically the last week and first few days of October, starting next weekend, this is 6 to 10 day Climate Prediction Center outlook and leaning toward the getting better than odds, better than average odds, I should say, or better than 50-50 odds of seeing a little bit of precipitation out there, as well as temperatures, though, that will be staying on the warm side of normal. Now, looking at some other products over there on the computer, that doesn't mean we're going to be like mid-upper 90s, anything like that, just above normal temperatures or the odds of leaning above normal. So we're looking at some low 90s. Then, going a little bit further into the future and into the 1st of October, approximately 50-50 chance of seeing normal precipitation, maybe a little bit better than that, but still leaning toward the warm side of things. So instead of, any big cold fronts moving on through here, it just keeps us at or slightly above normal as far as temperatures are concerned. That's where we are right now. We're still 4 degrees above normal and mid-60s parts of the hill country. Humidity is okay out there. We've got low 60s. That's tolerable. You kind of get in there. You feel a little bit of humidity. Stinson, New Braunfels, Canyon Lake. But then you look at those mid 50s out in portions of the hill country, although that's gone up slightly. But compared to this time yesterday, we are down 3 degrees for the dew point temperature, which means, yes, it is that much drier, which does make a whole lot of difference out there. Humidity will drop down this afternoon, as it usually does. But then the next few mornings, excuse me, aren't going to be quite as dry as what we are this morning. So it is going to be more humid in the mornings, dropping down in the afternoons as we go into the next few days. So as far as the rest of today, 86 at noon, 95 high temperature. We warm up quite a bit from now through the afternoon hours, a good 25 degrees when it's all said and done. And then pretty much same thing each and every day. As a matter of fact, it will get hotter, though. Wednesday, Thursday, 97s, and then 95s coming up this weekend. There is a front which is forecast to move into the area by late Sunday, Monday, which will knock temperatures finally back down to right about normal, upper 80s. And as far as squeezing out rain, when that comes through, a little kind of, if not real sure on that one, leaning toward the middle part of next week as a slightly better chance for some rain right now.
And a little cooler.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike.
Time now, 6:49, 72 degrees.
And here's Sarah Costa with what's coming up tomorrow on GMSA.
It's time to spruce up your gardens for the fall. I'm Sarah Acosta. Coming up tomorrow on GMSA, we show you how to make a homemade trellis for your climbing plants. And this one will cost you probably under $10.
Outside with Live Cam, sunrise check. It's a beauty out there for this Monday. Glad you're starting your day with GMSA. We'll be right back. Welcome Welcome back. KSAT is gearing up for another community event that's truly close to our hearts.
This year's Head for the Cure 5K is coming up, and we want you to join us. So the Head for the Cure is coming up Saturday, September 23rd, and this year marks 10 years. So the annual 5K and walk is held in honor of our late news director, Jim Boyle, who passed away after battling brain cancer. Now, with the help of his daughter, the inaugural local Head for the Cure 5K was held in 2014.
Since then, participation has grown every year with more families running for the survivors and in remembrance of their loved ones. So far, the local race has raised more than $800,000 for brain cancer research.
The race starts at 8 in the morning, again at September 23rd at Providence Catholic School. This is located at 1215 North St. Mary Street. And right now, participants can receive $5 off their registration fee by entering this promo code on your screen, KSAT. And it works. I just entered it last week.
Looking ahead, KSAT Community is partnering with the San Antonio Food Bank to help end hunger during Hunger Action Month.
So join us for a KSAT Community Town Hall this Friday. That would be September 22nd. And we're going to speak with leaders from the food bank and learning how anyone can give back.
We will be live streaming that town hall live on KSAT.com from 2:30 to 3:30 coming up this Friday afternoon. Well, as we mentioned, it is Hunger Action Month, and today on GMS 8 at 9, we're exploring the different volunteer opportunities at the San Antonio Food Bank.
Tiffany Huertas is going to tell us about a farm that they have at Mission San Juan and how you can get involved in growing crops.
So tune in for that and much, much more today on GMS at 9.
And I saw a lot of flashing lights out there at I-35 at Judson. Let's check back with Steven.
You know, I wish we could end the show on a better note here, guys, but 35 northbound is going to be a problem for a lot of folks that are waking up this early in the morning. Now, some reports that I saw show that we at least have traffic down to one lane, but it does look like first responders are shutting down a few more a little bit further back. This is a crash reported in the area, and as you see on the map, huge stretch of red out there. Not the only issue I'm tracking as we take a drive over on the opposite side of town. Loop 1604 going northbound at West Military Drive. We also have another crash reported. Morning commute, as always, started off quiet, but now that we've entered morning rush, we have a lot of congestion out there on our roadways. Be sure to be on the lookout for those first responders. I'll watch things closely, Mike.
Sunrise on tap right now. Just a couple of clouds kind of hanging around here. Temperature at 72, 62 right now in Comfort, and 64 up the road in Kerrville. We're going to make it up to 86 at noon, then 95 for a high temperature today. So it's definitely going to be on the hot side. Good 5, 7, 8 degrees above normal all week long. 97s on Wednesday and Thursday. Really hot days then. All the same thing, I should say, all the way through the weekend. Then a front comes through late Sunday into Monday to knock temperatures down into the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Above normal, but not triple digits, right?
No, that's true.
We'll take
but I want it colder.
Yeah, in time. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great day.